Imagine this. A man spends his entire life working as a janitor. He drives used cars, lives in a modest home, never appears on television, never starts a company, never becomes famous. When he dies, people discover he quietly accumulated more than $8 million. Now imagine another man. He graduates from prestigious schools, builds a successful career on Wall Street, lives in a luxurious mansion, owns expensive cars, travels the world. Everyone sees him as the definition of financial success. Then one day, he loses everything, bankrupt, forced to sell his home. His fortune disappears. Here's the question. How does a janitor become a multi-millionaire while a financial expert goes broke? Most people think wealth is about intelligence. They think the people with the highest IQs make the most money. They believe success comes from knowing more than everyone else. But what if that's wrong? What if wealth has less to do with what you know and more to do with how you behave? What if the biggest factor determining your financial future isn't your education, but your emotions? Because every day, millions of people make financial decisions. They save, spend, invest, borrow, take risks, avoid risks. And most of those decisions aren't driven by logic. They're driven by fear, ego, greed, pride, hope, and emotion. This is the hidden force behind every financial success story and every financial disaster. This is the psychology of money. The lessons you're about to hear have transformed the way millions of people think about wealth. And by the end of this video, you may realize that building wealth is much simpler than you've been led to believe. Have you ever looked at someone's financial decisions and thought, how could anyone be that stupid? Why would someone spend thousands of dollars on a car they can't afford? Why would someone gamble their savings on a risky investment? Why would someone panic and sell everything during a market crash? The answer is surprisingly simple. No one is crazy. People make decisions based on their personal experiences. Think about it. Someone who grew up during a recession sees money differently from someone who grew up during economic prosperity. Someone whose parents struggled financially may become extremely cautious. Someone who watched others get rich quickly may become obsessed with risk. Every financial decision you make is shaped by experiences nobody else lived. What seems irrational to one person often makes perfect sense to another. This realization changes everything. Because once you stop assuming people are crazy, you start understanding why they behave the way they do. And more importantly, you begin to understand yourself. Many people dream about becoming rich. Few think about staying rich. And those are two completely different skills. Getting rich often requires taking risks, starting businesses, making bold decisions, pursuing opportunities others ignore. But staying rich requires something entirely different: humility, patience, discipline, the ability to say, I already have enough. History is filled with people who made fortunes and then lost everything. Athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, investors, not because they couldn't earn money, because they couldn't stop chasing more. The world celebrates people who get rich. But wealth isn't measured by what you earn. It's measured by what you keep. True wealth isn't visible. It's the money you don't spend, the investments you leave untouched, the patience nobody notices, the discipline nobody applauds. That's what creates lasting wealth. Most people think wealth comes from dramatic moments: a huge promotion, a successful business, a lucky investment. But wealth is usually much quieter than that. The most powerful force in finance is something many people ignore: compounding. Compounding is when small gains build on previous gains, and then those gains build on more gains. And over time, the results become extraordinary. Imagine planting a tree. For years, it seems like nothing is happening. Then suddenly, it becomes enormous. Wealth works the same way. Small actions repeated consistently create massive results. A little saving, a little investing, a little patience. Again and again. The problem is that people are naturally impatient. We want results now. We want success now. We want proof now. But wealth rewards those who can wait. The people who become truly wealthy often aren't the smartest. They're simply the ones who stay in the game long enough. One of the biggest financial traps in history is comparison. You buy a car. Then your neighbor buys a better one. You get a promotion. Then someone else earns more. You buy a house. Then you see a bigger house online. Suddenly, what once felt like success feels inadequate. This cycle never ends. Because comparison creates an impossible target. There will always be someone richer, someone smarter, someone more successful. Social media has made this problem even worse. Every day, people are exposed to carefully selected highlights of other people's lives. Luxury vacations, expensive homes, designer clothes, private jets. What they don't see are the debts, the stress, the sacrifices, the reality behind the image. Many people spend money trying to impress people they don't even know, and often, those people aren't impressed anyway. The desire to appear wealthy is one of the fastest ways to become poor. There is one word that destroys more wealth than almost anything else. More. More money. More status. More possessions. More success. The problem is that more has no finish line. If you're always chasing more, you'll never feel satisfied. Many people risk everything they have for something they don't need. And sometimes they lose it all. One of the most valuable financial skills isn't earning. It's knowing when enough is enough. The happiest wealthy people often aren't those with the most money. They're the ones who understand what truly matters. Freedom, time, choice, peace of mind. Because money's greatest value isn't buying things. It's buying control over your life. When you can wake up and decide how to spend your day, that's real wealth. Most people misunderstand what wealth looks like. They think wealth is luxury cars, mansions, designer watches, expensive lifestyles. But those things are often evidence of spending money, not having money. Real wealth is invisible. It's the money sitting in investments, the savings nobody sees, the opportunities those resources create. The irony is that the truly wealthy often don't look wealthy because they understand something important. Every dollar spent today is a dollar that can't work for you tomorrow. The richest asset isn't a car, or a house, or a watch. It's flexibility. The ability to make decisions without financial pressure. That freedom is worth more than any luxury purchase. The biggest lesson from the psychology of money is surprisingly simple. Financial success is not primarily about intelligence. It's about behavior. You don't need to predict the future. You don't need to find the perfect investment. You don't need to be a genius. You need patience, discipline, humility, and an understanding of your own emotions. Because money is never just numbers on a screen. It's a reflection of human behavior. The people who master money aren't always the smartest. They're the people who master themselves. And perhaps that's the most important financial lesson of all. Wealth is not about having more. It's about needing less. And once you understand that, you begin to see money in a completely different way. If you enjoyed this story and want more life-changing books broken down into powerful lessons and stories, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And tell me in the comments, what's the biggest lesson you've learned about money? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.